The girl who ended up being my roommate, I knew her, but I didn't really know her. I should have picked a random girl, but I didn't. Mistake number uno. Or because I took French and I don't know if uno's correct. Let me know. Is uno correct for Spanish or not? Because I took French and it's un. So basically what had happened was when you moved into the on-campus apartments, or technically on-campus, off-campus, I don't know what you want to call it. When you moved into them, you had the opportunity to move into your apartment 2 weeks earlier, or maybe it was a week. It was either a week or two earlier than everybody else did. So my roommate ended up moving in early and I didn't, because at the time I didn't have a job and my mom was pretty much like buying my groceries and paying for everything. So financially it just wasn't a good move for me. It was better for me to just wait to move in that weekend before classes started. So my roommate had texted me and was like, "Hey, I'm on campus. Like, I'm about to move in. Where are you?" I was like, "Oh, I'm not coming till like the weekend before." And she was like, "Oh, okay." See, I should have known. See, she was being slick. She was being sly. I was thinking she was just being nice, maybe wanted to go get something to eat or cook. No, she was scheming. She had texted me, sent up this long text message, basically asking, "Hey, is it okay if my friend," and she said friend with a D at the end, not a S. We foreshadowing. So she was like, "Hey, is it okay?" And she sent me like this long text message too. She was like, "Hey, is it okay if my friend stays for a couple of days? She's just waiting for her apartment to be ready so she can move in." So me, like, being nice, I'm like, well, actually, in the back of my mind, because let me tell you, women's intuition is like that, okay? So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, something don't sound right. Something just don't sound right. But I'm gonna just be okay with it. I'm like, sure, that's fine, just as long as she's gone before classes start. So she's like, yeah, she'll be gone way before then. She'll be gone by the end of this week. So, like, I tell my mom, and she's like, and I tell my friends today, like, And then my best friend, she's like always tries to see the positive and like out of a positive Nancy instead of a negative Nancy. So she's like, well, you're not there. She like texted you about it. She could have just had her living there without telling you. Like, just don't make something out of nothing until you find that it is something, So I'm like, you're right. Like, I'm not going to stress this. And by the time I move in, she should be gone anyway. So I'm like, okay. So that Saturday comes and I decide to move in that Saturday. So that Saturday comes and we're like moving stuff in, or like, yeah, we're moving stuff in, and her friend, like the girl, is there. But then I notice, like, I'm seeing like suitcases, like 2-3 suitcases in the living room and duffel bags. And I'm like, I'm not going to act out of character because my mom's here and I don't have time. And my mom was like, who's all these suitcases? My mom, she don't care. She like speaks, she says whatever's on her mind. So she's like, who's all these suitcases? And I'm like, mom, just shh. I'm like, don't worry about it. I already know about it. I'm going to handle it. She's like, okay, because you don't need a bunch of people living in this house. And I'm like, I know, Mom, I know. So anyway, so my mom ends up leaving, and I end up leaving too because I had to like go to the store and get some like groceries. My mom was gonna get me some groceries, and then I just had a bunch of other stuff I needed to do. Then I come back like later that night, or not even that night. It was like that evening. It was probably like 5 o'clock in the evening. I got there like early in the morning. So then like I noticed that there's like people. There's 2 guys and 2 girls. I'm like, who are you? And I don't see my roommate. So I'm like, and mind you, let me find a name for my roommate because I'm afraid I'm going to say her name. We'll call her Delilah. So I'm like, who are you? Where's Delilah? And the guy's like, oh, I'm so sorry. we're just waiting for our place to be ready. It was supposed to be ready yesterday. Like, within those 3 weeks of me basically being there, I remember her, like, not her being there because she was there more than that, but just like those 3 weeks within like this stuff happening, I remember her going to class maybe twice, if that. Like, and I know a lot of people may not go to class for like the first day or something, but I was like, girl, you are missing some vital information. We are in college. Like, honey, there's some of these classes where you only get 4 tests for the whole semester. So I don't know what you gonna do. And you only a sophomore. You need to get it together if you trying to get this degree and them coins. So anyway, sorry if you hear Nose in the background. She's got her pooping face on, so she's trying to poop. But so basically, then I was like, yeah, you need to like get this together. You cannot be in this room, in this living room. You need to stay in your room. I don't know what's the living situation, but you can't be out here. So she was like, yeah, you're right. Okay. So then after that, I guess all 3 of them were in the room sleeping on the bed together. They probably were having threesomes and stuff. Then let's get into this. So 3 weeks goes by, and mind you, through all of this, let me add this in there. So through all of this, she was also extremely dirty, you guys. I mean, like, dirty. And you never know how dirty females are until you have to live with them. Like, everybody was not raised in the same way you were raised, girl. These children out here, child, they is dirty. Let me tell you, dirty. So, yeah, she used to have like, if you keep your room dirty, your bathroom dirty, that's one thing. But don't keep the areas that we share dirty. She didn't even have, I think she had like 1 pan and like 2 spoons and 1 spatula. So she used to use my like kitchen set because my mom had bought me like a kitchen set. So she used to use my kitchen set and then have the nerve to not wash them, not put them in a dishwasher. And mind you, I don't even like using a dishwasher, but honey, even if you would have told me, hey, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to wash it, it's in the dishwasher, I'd be like, okay, fine. Or, hey, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to wash it, I know I used your dish. No, nothing. I would be in there trying to cook, and I got a sink full of dishes, of my dishes. And I'm like, honey, child, like, you have no respect, none. And then, oh, it was just so nasty. Like, leave her plates that she already used her food, or that she already, like, yeah, ate out of, just leave them on the sink. Oops, sorry. Just leave them on the sink. It would look like she didn't even scrape, like, her food that she didn't want at the end of her meal. It looked like she didn't even try to scrape that out into the trash can. Like, I mean, it's just sitting there on the counter. I'm like, look, I don't want no roaches. I don't want no ants. I don't want none of that. So I didn't even say anything about that at first. We'll get to that later. Let's get back into this situation. So 3 weeks goes by, and so she's starting to stay in the room with Jasmine and Jasmine's boo. Probably, like I said, you know, all of them cahooting together, you know, doing their little do, whatever they do. I don't even care. So then also, you guys, there's so much. So let's get on to this third thing. So Jasmine's boo used to beat Jasmine. I mean, beat her, y'all. I remember the first time it happened. I remember I was sitting in my room, sleep, and all of a sudden I hear, no! Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what? Like, this is like him hitting her. Like, those were the sounds of the punches. I'm like, what in the world's going on? And all I hear is like stuff being thrown, like people screaming. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I like peek out my room and I'm like, what in the world? Because it's like 2:00 in the morning and I'm just like, what in the world? Like, is it here? Is it downstairs? Like, because you know, sound travels in apartments and dorm rooms. So I'm like, is it like, what is it? So, but then it got quiet. So I was like, okay, whatever. Jasmine's boo was really beating Jasmine, y'all. Like, I mean, like, it was on multiple occasions. I remember I had brought one of my friends over, one of my good friends, and we were just like relaxing in my room in between classes. And I think we were eating because we had went to like the pod or something to get some food, and we were eating and just chit-chatting and stuff, and I had my door open. And so all of a sudden, I hear, no, stop. And I like run out of my room, and so does my friend. And all of a sudden, Jasmine is on the wall, and Jasmine's boo has his hand around her neck. And I'm like, what? And like, this is literally what I say. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, get your hands off of her. Like, you are disrespecting her. You a man. You're not supposed to ever put your hands on a woman. He was like, what you talk about, man? I'm like, look, don't start with me, because you ain't gonna put your hands on me. And if you do, I got something for you. Not just by me, but by my man, my brother, my mom, my whole family gonna be out there, okay? Okay. But I'm like, what are you doing? Like, get your hands off her. He's like, whatever, man, whatever, I'm out. And he leaves. And her neck is like red. I'm like, dang, girl, you was about to die. She's like, catching her breath. I'm like, Jasmine, you need to leave him. And Jasmine didn't leave him, you guys. That's foreshadowing too. We'll get to that later. Actually, no, I'll go ahead and tell you, because I don't think I'm going to bring up Jasmine and Jasmine's booking. Jasmine, because you know how like after, I like you graduate and stuff, sometimes you nosy on Facebook and you're like, let me just see. Jasmine has a baby by Jasmine's boo now. Okay, they got a whole child together. So Jasmine, I don't know what you gonna do, girl. I feel so bad. I really do feel bad for her, you guys. But anyway, so that whole situation happened, and I was like, look, Jasmine's boo can't stay here no more. So she's just like, okay, he's not, like, F him, blah, blah, blah. He didn't. He probably came back, like, no, actually, he didn't. He didn't come back after that no more. Okay, so then the next thing, number 4. I don't know what was going on, but this girl used to have holes in the wall. I remember I had came home, the first hole that was in the wall. I came home and I just came in the house, like put my stuff down on the couch or in my room. I put my stuff down in my room. No, I put it down on the couch because I always lock my room door, because I was like, look, I ain't got time for Delilah to be in my room. So I always lock my room door, and luckily, like, we had, especially because, it's a college apartment, so they're like very keen about having locks and stuff. So we had a key to that like worked for our, like, to get into our apartment, and then a key that worked to get into each individual room. So I put my books down on the couch because I didn't feel like opening my door to my room, and all of a sudden, like, I just had this gut feeling that something was wrong. So I'm like walking around, and I look, boom, there's a hole. I mean, that jank was huge in the wall, just this huge hole. And I just stopped, because I can't believe it. I'm like, really? I'm like, no. This girl got a hole in the wall. So here I go, boop, 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 knock, 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 knocking on Delilah's door. Per usual, there's always something with Delilah. And I'm like, Delilah. She's like, yes. Because she always try to play this innocent act, like she innocent. I'm like, why is there a hole in our wall? I know, I'm going to get it fixed. I'm like, no, I'm like, no, I didn't. Nope, I didn't say this with this one. I was like, okay. So then a week goes by, still not fixed. I'm like, oh, So I'm like, Delilah, I thought you were going to get it fixed. She's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, no, don't worry about it. I'll put in a maintenance request. So I put in a maintenance request and told them about it. And so they came and fixed the hole. Okay? First hole. So it was just 2 holes. But I mean, still, why is there holes in our wall? 2 different occasions. So then, second hole. This hole was bigger, you guys. Same thing. I get home, and this time I had friends with me, and my boyfriend. My boyfriend at the time, my ex-boyfriend. And there's a huge, I mean, like, This jank was real big. It looked like they were doing demolition or something in the wall. And I'm like, no, because it wasn't cut like with nice cuts. Like it was all jagged. So I was like, no, she got another hole in this wall. Oh my gosh. So, here I come again. Boop, boop, doo 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 doo. Knocking on Delilah's door. I know, the hole in the wall. I'm going to get it fixed. I'm like, no. I'm about to go downstairs, get a piece of paper saying that this is you, because it's not going on my bill, saying that this was you. And yeah, so I go downstairs, get the paper, and I have her sign it, admitting that it's hers. And then I turn it in because I wasn't going to go through that where it just stalls and stalls and stalls. First of all, you guys. Anyway, yeah, so I had her sign the paper and I turned it in, okay? And then they came and patched up that wall too. I know they were like, dang, like, why y'all got all these holes in your wall? I know maintenance was tired of me. I used to call maintenance all the time for every little bitty thing. I'm like, maintenance, the light bulb in the kitchen is out. But hey, I mean, this is what we're paying for. That's the good thing about like when you're leasing and stuff like that, renting, like with the landlord and stuff, you know, that's their responsibility to take care of those things. So even though you might be like getting on their nerves, this is what they signed up for. So you don't ever feel like, you know, I'm getting on their nerves. Anyway, back to story time, back to what I'm saying. So then number 5, okay. So rewind. So I was telling you guys about like how she used to use my dishes and stuff. So basically it got to the point where I started missing dishes, like where I'm like, because I used to do a lot of cooking and I used to like cook for friends, especially like after a night out and stuff. Instead of us going out to spend money, I would cook for them. So I was cooking. It would come to the point where I had friends over and I would be cooking for them. And I don't even have no silverware for them to use because they're gone. They're missing. And I'm like, what in the world? So I would be knocking on Delilah's door per usual, asking Delilah, like, where is this? Oh, I don't know. And the funny thing is, well, I'll let you know. Well, no, I'll go ahead and tell you because I don't want to reveal too much. But the funny thing is, I ended up finding them. And she did have them. So, anywho, so then it got to the point where it was just getting so bad, where she was never washing my stuff out, where I was missing stuff, where my stuff started to get like scraped up and bent up. And I was like, oh, child. So I took all my dishes, packed them in their box, because I still had their box, and kept them in my room. And so she would be knocking on my door. And mind you, it's such a pain having to go in your room just to get dishes and get dishes and get dishes. And having to bring them in, like dry them off and bring them in your room. But I did all this simply because she was not grateful. She was not appreciative. And so you got to do what you got to do. And it came to the point where she would try to be like, oh, can I use this and this and that? And I would straight up tell her no. I'd be like, no, because you don't know how to respectfully use my stuff and you don't know how to clean stuff. So no, you can't use it and you're losing my stuff and I paid money for this. So she probably thought I was like, whatever. But honestly, she knows how she was. She knows. Okay, so then the next thing. Yes, the list continues. So one day I'm in there or in my room and all of a sudden I smell like this weird smell. Okay. Now I'm not a smoker and I've never been a smoker, but I have been around people who have smoked. And so I know, and then, you know, just being in college, of course, like a bunch of people smoke. And I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Not cigarette smoke, but that, you know, that kush stuff. So, I smell this really strange smell. And so it turns out she's smoking pot in our freaking apartment. Weed in the apartment. On a college campus. In a state where it is not legal. Okay? And listen, you guys. I am very bougie. and I am very cautious. And I am trying to get this degree, trying to get these coins, trying to get this paper. So you are not going to jeopardize my career and my time by smoking weed up in this apartment. No, honey child, no. So I had to fuss her out about that because this happened all the time. And she used to get like, I mean, the university that I went to, actually kind of like, it's a great university, but the surrounding part of the university, like some of the outskirts were like in the hood. So she used to bring the hoodest people from out there into our apartment. I come out of my room with my head wrapped up with like, my pajamas on to get a drink of water. Here she is with the hood's finest out in our living room. And I mean, they used to be deep. I mean, like 6, 7, 8 people up in the living room. And I'm just like, they like, hey, how you doing, Ma? I'm like, look, don't talk to me. I used to be like that. And they like, oh, she's too good. She bougie. She, blah, blah, blah. You know how they do. I didn't care. And I had to tell her, like, Delilah, I don't want all these men from the street up in our apartment. They don't even go here, Delilah. You go to their house. That's right, because they ain't got one. They still live at their mama house or their baby mama house. I know. But for real, like, most of them did. I'm not trying to throw shade, but most of them did. And so, Delilah just used to be smoking all the time with them. I had to fuss her out about that. Okay. Next thing. So I'm sitting in the living room with some friends on one occasion, and all of a sudden Delilah comes in and she has this huge speaker, and she's carrying it with Jasmine and some other person, not Jasmine's boo, but just some other guy. So I'm like, what in the world is this? And I'm just thinking, like, I mean, this is like a car speaker, you guys. This ain't no, little Bluetooth surround sound. This is a car speaker, like one of those big box things that has like this is a car speaker, okay? So I'm like, what is Delilah doing? Why she got that thing in here? So Delilah has this speaker, and I mean, this thing is loud. Ba-boom, ba-boom, boom, ba-ba-ba-boom, boom, boom, ba-ba-ba-boom, ba-boom, boom. It sounds like we got the loudest bass right up in the house. And I'm surprised so many people didn't complain. We did have people complain, like, beside us and underneath us, but not enough. And so I just let it slide. I'm like, whatever, I just let it slide. But it got to the point where, like, this was going on for, like, over a month. And my boiling point, I had a 8 a.m. class. Let me tell you guys, college students, don't let them set you up with them 8 a.m. classes. And I know you guys are like, you were a junior, you should have known better. But the only thing that sucked is my major, for my major, well, as you start to wind down to like your last classes, they only have like certain time slots open. And the only time slot they had open was 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or 8 p.m. Friday. And who want to go to class at 8 p.m. on Friday? Because I ain't sitting in nobody class at 8 p.m. on a Friday. So I got up and went to class at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So, but if you can, avoid that. Now, and the thing is, I love taking morning classes too, but just not that early in the morning, okay? But yeah, so I had an 8 a.m. class. And I had it was midterms, I think. It was midterms, and I had an 8 a.m. class, and I really needed to get a good grade on this midterm because my previous 2 tests weren't that great, and I needed to do good because this class was only graded by test. So I needed to do really good. I needed to get, excuse me. Oh, that was so unladylike. I needed to get a really good grade on this midterm. So basically what I had did was I was like, okay, I ate, I went in my bed, I was sleeping, I was starting to fall asleep. And then all of a sudden, no, I was sleeping. And all of a sudden I hear ba-boom, boom, ba-ba-ba-boom, ba-ba-ba-boom, boom, 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 boom. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, what in the world? So I open my eyes and I reach over to my dresser, pick up my phone, and it is past 2 o'clock in the morning. I think it was 3 in the morning. I know it was real late. And I'm like, no, Delilah is not. So and I look busted, you guys. I had my head wrapped. I'm wearing like an old dusty t-shirt, some old dusty sweatpants. Like I look ratchet, but I didn't care. Or dusty. I didn't care. I go out there, whip open that door so fast. And here is Hood's finest sitting on the couch with Jasmine and Jasmine's boo. I mean, not Jasmine's boo, with Jasmine and Delilah. And mind you, Delilah and Jasmine had a lot of... We'll get to that. Let's continue. With